Welcome back to the Skidmore Family Farm. Today we are back in the basement for the basement grow room, and we are to the point of doing a light. The lighting, it's going to be for the over the shelf area here. We have two LEDs. They're 4-foot LED lights, 1600 lumens, I think. Lumens are the measurement of light as far as like brightness or the area that it can cover per square foot. So we have two of those. And what I'm going to do is I bought a stick of EMT, which is electrical conduit. This is what they use in commercial, industrial applications. Typically this isn't used in residential or homes. The lights came with some clips that clipped around it that secured it, which probably would work decent on like the boards or floor joist, or if it was underneath a cabinet or something like that. But connecting it to the EMT wasn't going to work. It just wasn't secured enough. In my opinion, I think it would have fell at some point and probably broke the lights. So I'm going to put two wire ties, one at each end on each light, to secure it to this EMT. This stick, this was a 10-foot long piece of EMT. That's the standard length that comes in. I cut it to fit. I measured it out, found 8 foot between the joists, the way that worked out. And then I added these in here to find how long the distance between here and here to determine the distance or the length of pipe that I needed. Once I found out that at 8 foot fell on this side, and then you probably won't be able to see this, but there's another one right here, another floor joist. It equaled out to 8 foot, one on one side and then one on this side of the floor joist. And basically I'm going to cut this smaller piece here in half, which is just a little under 18 inches. And one piece will go up into here. There's a strap that will go around this pipe that's held in with a screw on the floor joist. So essentially it will be like this, and then you will have this board. It's going to be up higher than that. It'll probably rest about right in here somewhere. This bar will, so it will be like this. Once I mount it, and then the lights will mount to this with the zip ties, and that will allow us to push this up or lower it down. We'll have, I think these are 2x10s, I'm pretty sure. That will give us about 8 inches. Yeah, it'll give us about 8 inches that we can raise or lower it. I'm sure there's lots of other ways. I mean, I could tie string around them or whatever. I just wanted it to be fairly secure, and the way that works out, I think it's going to put plenty of light out for 8 feet of length, and it should cover enough to if I've got them like this, which was the plan, there should be enough light to cover this area. These are 10x20 flats, so that should work out to supply enough light for the start of our greens. And I bought quite a few seeds that we'll go over that here in a little bit too. But let's go ahead and get started on putting this together. And I've kind of pre-assembled a lot of it just to save some time, but I've measured and Got everything laid out, and you'll kind of see here real quick how it's going to go. This is a tubing cutter for plumbing or electrical. I can use it to cut conduit or copper lines, water lines, that type of thing. Or refrigerant for line sets on heating and the HVAC lines. And all you do is I have a mark here I did with a Sharpie marker, and that was the measurement that split this in half. You put this line here on your mark, and then you tighten it down, and then you spin it a handful of times, and then you screw this in, and each time you screw it in, the wheel that's on here, it's like a metal cutting wheel, pinches in on this pipe, and it just slowly cuts a groove into it. The EMT takes a few more times than copper. Copper's pretty soft, so usually about 3 trips around, and then you tighten it down some more, and you can see the groove that it's making. It's already almost all the way through it already, so it goes pretty quick. And they actually have electric ones that do this too. That makes it even faster. It spins the pipe and has a cutting wheel inside the tool. Yep, right on. And let's assemble this and get on it. Need another fitting. And to connect these do not have flared ends on them, so they're the exact same size, so you have to have couplings to join the pieces. Now, I mean, you can use a flat screwdriver. You can do this with minimal tools. I just happen to have power drill and all that down here, so we'll use that for time's sake. And that joins the 2 pieces. One thing when you're doing this, since we have 2 ends on it and we want them to both be at the same, we don't want them to be, the 90s to be twisted, otherwise it won't line up. So I'm going to lay this down flat. And then we will tighten this connector down here, or coupling. And like I said, I've kind of fabricated this together beforehand just for time's sake. It wouldn't, you're kind of missing a few steps that I already did. And also, I wanted to add before I do this, these lights have plug-ins that you can join up to 10 of these, I think it says in the directions, together, either by just plugging them together, that makes the electrical connection between them, or if you need to space them a little bit for whatever reason, or you can make a 90. You could have one light going this way and then one going this way to 90 out, or any angle that you needed by joining these with the cable that they provided, which I thought was pretty handy. I don't know how long these lights will last, but they were only $10 a piece, and they're LED lights. We purchased these at Menards, one of the local box stores. And I'm just gonna, since they're all gonna be on the same pipe, I'm just connecting them. I'm not gonna use the wire that goes in between them, but I will save this wire here just for you never know. I mean, I could change my mind or reconfigure things or that type of thing. So we'll go ahead and keep it. It's always good to keep spare parts because you never know when you're going to need them. I always try to keep the extra little screws and fittings or whatever anytime I buy something, because it never fails. If you don't keep it, a month down the road you'll be doing another project and you'll need that screw or whatever it is, piece of hardware that came with something. See? Joins it. I'm going to put this one down there. And like I said, we'll go ahead and show you these. These are called one-hole straps. And basically that hooks around the conduit, and I'll screw it down tight, and that will press it up against the floor joist and around the clamp. I have one at each end, and that will allow us to secure it to the floor joist and let it suspend over the shelf. Sorry if I'm bouncing you around. Spin you over this a little bit, and then hopefully I can do this by myself. Should be able to. Once I get one end connected, the other end shouldn't be too big of a deal, hopefully. And I'm going to go ahead and scoot you around to this side, and you should be able to see me from this view, hopefully. Kind of get a better idea of what's going on. Let's straighten you guys out. There you go. Yeah, this looks like it's going to work out pretty good. And we will come down here. I'm going to move you back. I'll do the other end. And then we should be able to zip tie the light up there. Actually, let me move you over here. This might be a little bit better view. Yeah, now I can get everything in there. Just in case you wondered, you guys are sitting on my dryer now. Get down here, we'll screw this in, and we'll use these wire ties to connect the lights up there. We already have an outlet, which I could have installed one, but it's nice enough that was conveniently one already there. There's another outlet over there, so it works out pretty good, and they're on a separate circuit, so I can put quite a few lights on this and not have to worry about it tripping a breaker or anything like that. And we're also going to go over here shortly the wheat sprouts They are doing really good. Once I get these lights up, we'll go ahead and put them on underneath the lights. I'll uncover them in the morning. That would be 2 full days covered in darkness while they sprouted, and I've rinsed them each or watered them twice a day. We'll go ahead and water them tonight. I haven't done that. We'll get to that here shortly. But we're going to connect this, and I've already measured this also. It's 10 or right at 11 inches. This bottom shelf measures at about 22, so we split it in half, and that will allow the light to be centered over the shelf. And it looks like my measurements were correct. Really close, at least close enough that it's going to work. I've got a level down here too. We'll make sure this is somewhat level. It's a magnetic torpedo level, and it looks like this end down here needs to go up a little bit, or actually, yeah, we'll lower this end down, and that way it'll put it a little bit closer to the flats. Looks pretty close right there. It's not one to hold for some reason. Oh, what are we gonna do? We'll probably see if we can shoot a screw in this. Yeah, pretty close to level. Drill a hole. What I'm doing now is I'm going to drill a hole through this EMT. This end's not wanting to clamp together too tight, so we're going to drill a hole, shoot a screw into it, and then that'll hold it in position. And then all I'll have to do is loosen the screw up if we need to go up or down with it at some point. Right now, I think once we get the lights on there, we'll check it and we'll adjust it accordingly. It may need to go up some, I'm not sure. But either way, we'll need the set screw in there. we're still pretty level. Let's check this one. We might do this one here too. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a we'll shoot a screw in through this end too, just for good measures. And these are just drywall screws. I'm drilling a hole into the EMT and shooting I think it's 1.5 inches, or 1 5/8, something like that, drywall screw through it above the clamp, and that will allow it to not slide below it. And this is all fairly inexpensive. This piece of pipe, a 10-foot stick of EMT, is less than $3. The connectors, the couplings and 90s cost as much as the EMT does. That's the expensive part of it. And what I'm doing here is just marking the pipe at level so I know where to drill the hole at. And since the screw's in that end, I'm not really too worried about it falling out. I was hoping to be able to do that without getting up there, but it's not going to happen. I think that's close enough. We'll adjust it if need be. I think we'll just leave it like that because more than likely I'm going to have to adjust it up or down depending on how the light spreads out over the shelf. Okay, now we're going to take the wire ties and see if I can't do this without breaking them. We'll go ahead and probably, I think there's enough room to slide that in there. Yeah. We'll just go ahead and put these on and just barely tighten them up, and then I can slide the light in there. We're almost done. Hopefully. I say that, knock on wood. About the time I say that, something will break or go wrong, but we'll see. Looks like that one's going to work out. Let's put this end in and we'll connect the two together. I gotta put two more together. I accidentally pulled it. We'll cut that out off and then we'll trim these ends up. As needed. And I'm sure somebody else has done this too. It was just something that I came up with real quick. I wanted it to be adjustable and be somewhat secure. I didn't want the lights bowing. The EMT has enough rigidity to it to keep the lights in one place. As you can see, I mean, it has some movement to it, but it's not going to fall. And like I said earlier too, I have about 8 inches of adjustment. I can go up. This is about as low as I can get it, but I can go up 8 more inches if needed. Say the plants start to grow, whatever we're growing down here starts to grow up, we can raise these up so the light spreads out and gets the whole plant or the whole tray. Okay, so we got these. They're pretty, it looks like it's equally spaced out. We're going to go ahead and plug this end in. And then we'll plug this right here into the outlet. And there we go. Yeah, I think that's going to be the right height. Like I said, we have, the goal was to cover this area, this 20 inches or so, and it looks like it's going to do it fairly well. And if it wouldn't, I can always add another light on the side of this, and these connect together like I showed you. They have the wire. If I need to move this over to here and add another second light for whatever reason, but I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do yet on that as far as that goes. But I've even thought of using the EMT to make, if I put another piece of EMT over here, or if I move those and separated them, I could put another tray up here. Or I could use even PVC to make like a shelf that this could sit on and slide on, and then have another shelf made out of PVC. I've seen quite a few people use that, and then I could have another tray and then do the same as I'm doing here and have another light, or even I probably wouldn't even need the EMT on the upper light. I could probably just screw that directly to the floor joist, and that would be enough light to cover that area. It's probably what I'll do. And then that way I can keep the grow area, I can maximize my space to however many trays. I'm not sure. This is 8 feet, so that's 96 inches. These are 10 inches wide. I can fit roughly 10 of these just like this, stacking them down. Another 10 up here, or 9, let's just say 9 to be safe. That's 18 flats. That could be anything. Right now we're just doing the starter fodder, or starting the fodder. which I did want to go over with you since we got the light done. Let's go ahead and check that out. So it's been 2 full days of sprouting in a 12-hour soak. We soaked it for 12 hours. You could kind of see the little roots starting to pop out, but then I put them in the flat, and I've been watering it every night, or in the morning and then at night. And you can see these are all the little sprouts coming out of the seeds. This is red hard winter wheat, I believe. I've got the tag over here, and I've also got a timer. I bought a timer today, so I don't have to worry about it. I bought a digital timer, and we will just let the timer do the work, and it's in the basement. I can just check in on it, make sure the lights are on periodically. Typically those timers last quite a while, but occasionally you'll get one that's a little fidgety, goes in and out or whatever. Throughout the years doing electrical work, I've had to replace a few for people, the kind that were hardwired in, but this is just a plug-in. It plugs into an outlet, and then your cord plugs into the timer, I believe. But we are up and running. Oh, the seeds. I also got some starter. Let's see. Yeah, seed starter mix, which is just a really light. I believe this is a coconut core. Yeah, right here. And this is a really loose type soil. It allows the seed to start and be able to work its way in, and it retains the moisture really good. And I believe this is, yeah, it's got plant food already in it. We'll probably get some fish emulsion to add for a bi-weekly or weekly application. And we'll also mix in some chicken manure once we get, after the starts are ready. Chicken manure in with some potting soil and that type of thing. Put some vermiculite and peat moss in it, in with the normal soil that we're just basically going to take a wheelbarrow and mix all the ingredients together. That'll be in a couple weeks. I'm going to try and get a video out in the morning, but you can see I've got some different carrots, and these I kind of thought were cool. We got some Swiss chard, some China rose, which I'm not sure who I saw. I want to say it was Wholesome Roots, or Roots and Refuge. I can't remember which other channel I saw. They were at Baker's Creek, I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is the one. It's a sweet radish. Now we got some greens, different mustard greens, some lettuce, spinach, some bok choy, and I got just some random stuff that we can try. I've got quite a few. Probably overpaid for a lot of it since it came from the box store. I didn't pay these prices. They have this price, and then they have the Menards price, and it's discounted. Plus, there was a 15% off sale going, so I think I got them at about half price of these marked prices. Like I said, I may have still overpaid even with the sale going on, but we can. We're just learning all this, and it's January in Indiana. It's like below zero out, so if we get anything out of this at all, we'll be that much farther ahead than a lot of people. Most people, it'll be a couple months before they even begin to try and get sprouts out after that last freeze. I think, I mean, it's usually April, I think, before a lot of people plant, unless they've got like low tunnels or something like that. You have to have something. Indiana's weather's so crazy that you just never know what's going to happen here. We've always got we have Memorial Day weekend. We've had snow before. That's at the end of May. So, or it could be 100 degrees out. You just never know. And like I said, we're going to do the last watering, and then I'm going to cover them back up, and in the morning we will leave the full light on them. But you can see the little all the little sprouts coming out, the root system already starting. But like I said, it seems like it's covering the whole tray, so these grow 6 inches. So I know typically, a lot of times they say to keep the light down really close to it, but we'll see how it does. It's just an experiment for me. We're just learning a lot of this. It's the, in our description of our channel, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll just see. I'm starting with these wheat sprouts, so they're kind of, like, I don't want to say fail-proof because there's lots of things that can go wrong, but $10 you can buy a 50-pound bag of wheat seeds, so I've got plenty of seeds to mess up with, basically, is what I'm getting at. Yeah, we're right at about 11 inches between here and this top edge, so if this grows up 6 inches, we'll still have 5 inches or so of space, and I can still go up with it. I think it'll work out pretty good. I was about out of water. I'm going to go ahead and dump some more on this. And these were non-perforated flats. So I drilled my own holes in the end of these, and that will allow this to drain. I went over that in the past video. Like I said, we'll tidy all this up and make it a little bit nicer looking. But it seems like these I think I'm gonna leave these loose, and then that way I can adjust it, take them off if we add something, or we've got plenty more space on this shelf. And I can also, like I said, I can add lights to go around the corner here with these. Or there's another outlet over there. I can start at that end and wrap this way. Just depends on how it works out. But we've got 8 feet of coverage here. And then if I decided to put another one, that'd be 16 feet, 18 to 20 flats. That's a pretty good start. And like I said, we've got the dehumidifier. I've got a heater down here. It's like 65 or 67 degrees down here, according to the thermostat. It looks like we've got everything for a good start. I did buy some of these that have the individual cells for the starts, and then I'll take my seeds and I'll put some tape or something on these and divide these up and I've got 2 of these, so I've got like 150 or a little less than 150. I think these are 72. So we got 144, I think, something like that. That I can start and work with that, and then we'll just go from there. I'm gonna do a variety of things and see what works out right now down here. Basically, we'll just go from there. Probably add to the system, and I know I've got to get some adapters so I can get water over here, and I may even run a line or a drain line and get a wash tub down here just for the sake of not having to go upstairs. We have a sump pit that's right behind you underneath the stairs, but I don't really want to have to walk over there and try and dump stuff through the stairs. It'll just end up making a mess. We'll figure out some sort of drain system though. That way I don't have to run up and down the stairs. Everything can be contained to down here. I'm not spilling stuff up on the floors upstairs. But that about wraps this up. I will do another video here shortly on the basement grow room. Like I said, with these starts, we'll show you what we're gonna go with first. It'll probably be, we'll probably try and get some carrots and stuff going since they take a little bit longer than the greens. I think a lot of this lettuces and greens and stuff, they're right around 50 days, depending on temperature and lighting and stuff, to maturity. And so we'll probably get some of the carrots going since they take a little longer, and the beets, things like that, bok choy, and get those going, and probably some of the greens too. We'll do a mixture of everything. Like I said, we've got 157 cells, or a little less than that we can plant. And then I'll just transfer these into some pots or whatever, and by that time, in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'll have more lights probably, and we can put them in the starts into some pots. And the goal was to get some vegetables, greens, whatever for us, and then the farmer's market will be coming up. A friend of mine's church, I think on Saturdays, they have the women in there put on a little thing like a farmer's market too in their church that opens up to the public. I'm not sure if it's going on right now or if it's coming up here soon, but we'll probably try and get some products out there for them too. Not looking to get rich, just it'd be nice to pay for some of these and the seeds and stuff, and just interact and meet new people and get new ideas. Well, that wraps up this episode on the Skidmore Family Farm Basement Grow Room. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and hit the bell. Feel free to comment. Thank you.